but it's a Tuesday morning. So as a result, we have both seen Monday Night Raw. And I got to tell you, Eric, I feel like this was one of the better Raws in recent memory. I'm not going to go so far as to say it's one of the best Raws of all time and all that, but I thought it was a really, really good show. And it went off the air with a really old school angle. It felt like Jim Crockett Promotions or something. It was a really fun episode. I'm curious to see what you thought, because I know you've had a stance on blood before, but I thought it was used pretty effectively. What'd you think about Monday Night Raw last night, Eric?
I really enjoyed it. No, I watched it at 6 o'clock this morning, my time. So I got up early, started pounding coffee, and wanted to really be able to focus on the show. And that 3 hours flew by. Now, I did speed up through the commercials and things like that, so I didn't have to sit there for a full 3 hours. But wow, I didn't see anything that didn't hold my attention. I mean, this show was so well done, and I found so many things interesting about it, especially in light of a lot of the conversation, social media conversation as of late, about how many minutes of wrestling time. Like, that fucking matters to anybody that's an actual producer. It only matters to that small, subsection of audience who, loves wrestling just for the sake of wrestling. It could care less if it means anything or there's a story or characters or anything like that. But I think we were like 22 or 24 minutes into the show before we heard a word.
Yeah.
It was great. And that segment with Rock and Cody. Now, Cody, we got a lot of narrative out of Cody. He set it up really, really well. And Rock came out, and you're expecting something explosive. I was. And all you got was that stare down with the little whisper at the end. And I immediately thought, man, this is, if anybody ever wants to take a look at the saying less is more and why that's important, look at this segment. Watch the people in the crowd. Forget about Rock and Cody for a moment. Just focus on the crowd. Listen to them and watch them. They were far more engaged in that stare down for however long it was. I didn't time it. They were far more engaged and interactive during that stare down than they would have ever been during any kind of an angle or, God, please, a match. That's the other thing that I noticed. So that's that point. I thought it was a fascinating study in the art of less is more. Because it worked. It just worked so well. The other thing that I really liked, I liked the Becky Lynch rematch a lot. Because to me, it was a perfect study in the art of keeping people away. Had they done what typically we see so often is some kind of physicality. Now, there was physicality, but the physicality was in the form of them two trying to get to each other. And there was good contact. There was some heat there, no doubt about it. But they were able to make the audience just want to see that match without giving them too much. That's what I'm really trying to say. So often when you're trying to get heat, you're getting close to the finish line, right? WrestleMania being the finish line, you're getting close to the event. It's so easy, and I think typical for talent and producers to want to see the action, get heat. God, beat the hell out of Becky, get heat on Becky. Typically that would be the heel would get the heat on the baby face, leave him in a pool of blood. But that's what they were doing at the end. So they artfully, they gave the audience enough to satisfy them, but they didn't give them so much to over-satisfy them and therefore build anticipation for their match. Another really classic, well-done example of keeping the talent apart to create anticipation and make people want to see the resolution. I thought that was really well done. The opening match, I know I'm bouncing around here, but guys, I've been drinking coffee since 5:30 this morning, so you're going to have to strap in and keep up. I can't help it. The other thing that I really liked was the Ricochet. What is it, JD MacArthur? JD something? Sorry, I don't know his name. That was a phenomenal match. I mean, that for the audience that needs to see fast pace, kind of a lucha, high flying, cruiserweight-esque match. Ricochet's a freak. He's so good. I mean, wow. That was fun to watch. What else did I really like about the show?
Let me time out. I know you're doing like a Will Ospreay love fest lately, and I'm grateful for that because I think he's a phenomenal talent. I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't recall. Have you seen his match with Ricochet from several years ago, maybe 2017?
No.
Oh, just throw that in your Google machine when we finish today. Now that I know you were impressed with what Ricochet did, I can't wait for you to see what he and Will Ospreay did like 7 years ago. It'll blow your mind, especially in the context of 7 years ago.
And I think, and I will do that because I'm interested in seeing it. One of the things, I've always loved, this is one of the reasons I created the cruiserweight division, is because I love the high flying, faster paced action. So it's not like I've never liked that style of wrestling. I was impressed with it enough back in 1995 or so, to create a cruiserweight division and bring people in from all over the world to showcase that style of wrestling before anybody else did on a regular basis in prime time. So it's not like a newfound love for me, but what I like about what I saw with Ricochet and JD, and I'm so sorry, JD, I don't remember your last name, but I will get it right. McDonough. JD McDonough, one of my favorite new talents in WWE, JD McDonough. But one of the things I liked about it is the moves they meant something. They were part of the story. It wasn't just two guys going out there and flying around for the sake of flying around. It made sense. And I enjoyed watching it. The precision and the timing was mind-bogglingly good. But it was that it made sense to me. And there wasn't too much of it. I didn't feel like I was watching really big, high-risk moves just for the sake of a really big, high-risk move. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It kind of meant something. What else did I really love? Gable and Sammy. Chad Gable's finding his character.
Yeah, he is.
And I love it. He is a great guy. I worked with him a little bit in 2019, trying to help him find his groove a little bit. And I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, but the little bit of time I did spend with him was really, really enjoyable. And I was so impressed with him. And he's such an amazing performer, but he's never really found his groove. This might be it. Let's see where it goes. I've always been a fan of Sammy's, but I think Sammy's facials and recognizing, rather than being defensive, as we normally would see when somebody's, like Chad was coming up and telling him what he needed to do to beat Bronson Reed and all that. He sold me. Sammy sold me, and he's such a great performer that I was excited about that. I'm excited about the combination of Chad and Sammy to see where that goes.